Hi, in this video we're going to check out another low-cost Fluke. It's the Fluke 17B MAX Digital Multimeter. And if you're a long-time viewer, you might remember I reviewed the 17B, not the MAX version, the 17B, but that was 12 years ago. So this new B MAX model is actually an improvement on the 17B Plus, which is, I haven't done a video on that, but it was, don't know when it was released in between these two, but somewhere in there, the 17B Plus, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, whatever, but this one's reasonably new. It's probably a year old or something, I think, but anyway, I haven't done a review on it, so let's check it out and see how it is. Now, of course, fairly recently, I did the little $50 Fluke 101 here, and this is a surprisingly nice and useful entry-level Fluke. The 17B Max here, I paid about 130 Yankee bucks for this on AliExpress. Prices vary a lot, and if you're a new customer, you can get like big discounts on AliExpress and stuff like that. But anyway, check out the prices for yourself. So I won't go detailed into prices, but is this a useful upgrade from something like the little Pocket 101 in terms of, like, you know, bang per buck, value for money? And is it a decent meter? Well, let's check it out. This 17B here, actually for the last 12 years since I reviewed it, has actually been my home multimeter. So I've used it for all sorts of stuff over 12 years. Hasn't given me any issues whatsoever. It's been a really nice meter. So I'm curious to see what the 17B Max has to offer. Apparently this is just an upgrade to the 17B Plus, and I think the only differences, please correct me if I'm wrong, are the extra input alert down here, plus like a power on function, and maybe the screen is different. Let's check it out. Compared to the old 17B model, it's roughly the same size and basically identical range layout and function layout here, but we do have an added visual indicator here for high voltage. That's nice. The Hertz percent button is moved down to here. We've got the shift function moved from here over to here, and so, you know, it's changed around a bit. Rel, range and hold remain the same, but we've got a dedicated min-max button, but the 17B Plus, I think, had the min-max, and we've got the backlight down here. The ratings have changed though, so it was 600 volt Cat 2, 1000 volt Cat 1, now it's 600 volt Cat 3, so more better there, so we expect significantly different internals. Anyway, it does feel like a really robust little meter, and that's what you'd expect from Fluke, but obviously, like if you fall off the bench and you land flat, there's no protection for the range switch, so yeah, it's going to, so it could land straight on that range switch there. That'd ruin your day a bit. So it would have been nice to see some protrusions on the case just to protect that, but anyway, let's not quibble. How do we get this off? I haven't tried this yet. Oh, crikey. Fluke.com, 2 AA batteries there. It's got all the requisite marks and everything, but you will notice that UL listing is actually not there, but same on the the little 101 jobby here. But yeah, it's a Fluke. You can bet your bottom dollar that it's certainly going to meet its cat ratings, no problem. Haven't tried to take this holster off before, but damn, I'm having trouble because there's no, like, purchase here. You can't, like, get it, because you can replace the battery, but if you want to replace the fuses, you're going to have to get this damn thing off. Damn, unbelievable. What? Oh, there we go. Got it. Maybe there's an easier way, but geez. Anyway, 11 amp, 1000 volts, 20 k amp braking capability, and 440. Just, yeah, usual Fluke drill. And the battery compartment, it's got the half turn thing here, which you can just do with your fingernail like that and lift that off, and bingo, Bob's your uncle, you've got your 2 AA batteries. They do, like, just flap around in the breeze, and it didn't come supplied with any batteries, so these are mine. And I actually had trouble getting this back in here. Like, it's kind of like, okay, you can put them in here like this, but I don't know, it's a little bit dicky. I wasn't that happy with it trying to get the damn thing back in. But anyway, I do like these quarter turn designs. They're pretty good, but I don't know, it's okay, but yeah, it's just a little bit annoyed with it. Got a calibration seal down there. That's interesting. Is there a trimmer pot under that? Only one way to find out. And mine has an annoying little fleck of, like, fiber stuck under the screen, and it's not in one position. It moves. It just shifted. It's all over the shop. Oh, look, it's down here now. Unbelievable. And for you box aficionados, I've got the Chinese version, not for sale outside of China, but this is on the official Fluke.com American website. You can actually buy it here. You can get it from official Australian dealers, everything else. It looks like I've just got one that is technically only for sale inside China, but it's going to be identical to the one that you can buy in your local country, I'm sure. Now, one thing to note though, they have several models, the MAX -01 and the -02. The only difference is the supplied probes. I've got the 02 one, which has, we'll have a look at them in a minute, some new sharper probes designed for electronics use rather than the traditional standard Fluke probes that are designed for electrical use. Well, you can get the dash kit, but you get both. And I don't even know why they bother having the table between them, because it's exactly the same meter. Everything's exactly the same. It's only the probes different. So, and yes, of course, it is actually made in China, as these lower end Flukes are. This is how they get the low price point. This looks like a calibration card by the looks of it. No, this does not apply to me. Please discard or ignore. Okay, we're going to ignore it. And here we go. We've only got the non-English manual. So, yeah, whatever. And we get the new probes and the Fluke standard temperature probe as well. These are the TL31 probes, and yeah, they're PVC, no nice silicon, so yeah, that's what you get. And we've got some protective covers on here, which actually, you'll notice, I haven't seen this before. You'll notice that no probe comes out. Don't stick your finger over that, but you can actually push that in like that, and then you get the nice Sharpie point, so that'll give you extra protection for not touching the probes. But as I said, these are really sharp, designed for electronics use. So yeah, you can really stab yourself with these. And I like them. Really, you know, they're not gold plated, but they're way better than the standard TL75 probes like this that you're familiar with. These are sharp as well, but yeah, these are better designed for electronics use rather than electrical, in quote marks. You know what we say here on the EEVblog, don't turn it on, take it apart. No metal threaded inserts, unfortunately, but Fluke do metal into plastic rather well, so no wuckers there. Looks like 2 extra screws inside there have to come out as well. Ooh, it looks like that is actually into some metal insert in there. That's interesting. All right, looks like it's just going to lift straight off. No wuckers. Oh, we're in like Flynn. Look at that. So, yeah, there's our 2 contacts for our AA battery holder. Pretty nice. There's no extra shielding inside there whatsoever. And that calibration hole, the calibration hole wasn't, not a trim pot. It's not the 1980s, Dave. We've just got a little 3-pin calibration factory header there. And we've been blobbed. There you go. We've been absolutely blobbed. So it looks very simple on the input, doesn't it? Let me get the old 17B apart and let's do a comparison. Just to show you the difference in the battery holders, the old 17B here had a metal threaded insert there and a screw like that, whereas the new one has that half-turn thumb screw. So here's the old 17B here, and the first thing you kind of notice is that they've upgraded the 440 milliamp fuse to the 10mm jobby. None of that wimpy rubbish, but overall they're very similar. They've got the same blob chip design here. This would just be an off-the-shelf multimeter chipset from one of the major manufacturers, if you got any idea which one. Oh, actually, we might even have schematics for this. I'll try and find it and pull it up. But anyway, basically very similar layout here. We've got our split jacks. We'll take a closer look at that later. But basically, they've replaced the diode bridge, single package diode bridge here with the 4. In fact, they've got 5 there. There you go. Oh, yeah, they've got that extra one there. So they just replaced the single package with multiple ones there. I don't know, might have been cheaper. It might have been bomb reuse from over here somewhere, something like that. Anyway, same arrangement. We've got our 1K input fusible protection resistor here. We've got our input PT single input PTC inline here. We've got 3 MOVs here. There's our AC coupling cap there. We've got another 1K SMD there. Apart from that, it's very similar design, really. And the 10 amp path over here, we've got our 10 amp fuse. There's our 10 amp current shunt. looks identical. And our 1 ohm current shunt resistor over here is basically identical. They've flipped the chip around, so all the electrons are going to fall out from vertical to horizontal to vertical orientation like this. There's a few differences in the layout down here. I'll put high-res photos over on EEVblog.com website if you want to check them out in detail. But you'll notice that the one thing they did add, of course, is that calibration input here, whereas the old design, they did actually have trimmers. So we weren't talking 1980s. I did actually remember that, yeah, the old design actually had the 4 trimmers in there. So now it's all done electronically. Beautiful. But there seems to be some extra stuff going on over here. We might check that out in a bit more detail. But, I missed the 5 SMD resistors. There, where have they gone? We don't have them here. Are they on the other side of the board? Oh no, I missed it. There is one trimmer. Oh, come on. You know I'm a Melf fanboy. Look at that. Melf. 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 Now let's get this fusee out, because I noticed something interesting here, and that is the brand. These are ASTM fuses, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm the one who put Bryman onto ASTM fuses. Now I think, I'm not sure if all the Bryman meters come with ASTM fuses, but yeah, they basically switched over to ASTM, and they're out of Hong Kong, which I have to say is China now. But yeah, 30 kiloamps. So yeah, they've really beefed up that. So maybe that's where they're getting their Cat 3 rating, because the standards have changed in the last decade. But anyway, they've gone to the 10 millimeter jobby there, and also ASTM for the 10 amp jobby over there. But yeah, ASTM make great fuses, and that's what I specify in my EEVblog meters. So there's the 4-terminal implementation there for the new input alert feature, which wasn't on the 17B or 17B Plus series, and that's implemented really well. I like that. They've got the insulating sheet there, and of course you've got the split jacks, one on either half there, and that's just like physically a really nice implementation. I like that. That's a Bobby Dazzler. So yeah, you should be able to see, hopefully, yeah, you can see the split, the 2 halves, 2 contacts, one either side, and that's how they detect. That's a high impedance circuit goes off, and that will detect whether or not your probe's plugged in. And pro tip, if you do actually get an input jack alert warning on your multimeter, doesn't whether it's Fluke or Bryman or whoever, then you could actually have some contamination in your sockets, which is causing a slightly low impedance path. So you want to get in there with some isopropyl or maybe a cotton bud and give it a good blow job as well. And some people have put them in a bag with a desiccant, because you can get moisture absorption into the plastics and stuff like that. I'm not saying this Fluke's going to do that, but you know, it has been known to happen. So you put it in a bag with some desiccant, and that can draw out the moisture and stuff. Yeah, Bob's your uncle. You can get it back up and running if you have a faulty input jack alert. Anyway, it's a nice, clean, tidy layout. I really like it. They're putting in extra surface mount inductor there just for some EMC work. So yeah, nice touch. Our range contacts over there. I'll get the board out. We'll have a squiz. You'll be pleased to hear these are proper metal threaded inserts, and they do have Loctite on them. So thumbs up there. Beautiful. Oh, okay, that's the plastic surround for the entire LCD. So it looks like I didn't have to get those screws out there. Ooh, okay. So it looks like you only do those, but we do have to get the range switch off, otherwise the board ain't coming out. Hey, that was actually relatively easy to clip those out. Didn't do any damage or anything like that. And, oh, there you go. I was wrong about those two from the battery holder being metal threaded inserts. They're not. They're just into plastic. They just have that thread, which is different to the other cut that they have on the ones for the main standoffs here. There's that pesky flake. I can get it out. Awesome. Melf, 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 Melf. Oh, no Melf. Oh, bummer. Anyway, there's the LED indicator for the high voltage warning. There's our range switch, gold plating over nickel contact, I'm sure. It looks like there's nice spacing on there. Everything's hunky-dory. Flukes usually do very well in the range switch endurance test. You'll notice the high voltage isolation slots, they had that cut into the plastic here. You should have noticed that before. So, yeah, they're just isolating that bridge, which was on the top side over here. And I assume these Melfs here are for the input jack alert. So yeah, one's from, this side, going through there like that. This board is really gloss. It almost looks like it's got a conformal coating on it, but I don't think it has. It's just the solder mask on it is like really super glossy. Like, you might think that looks like a conformal coat there, but I think this is just a glossy solder mask, because there's nothing over the actual, the actual components. There's no, I need a microscope. If you take a look at the close-up there, you can see that it is the solder mask. There is no coating over the components. This is just, it's just a real glossy solder mask that just looks like conformal coat. And under the LCD, no surprise finding nothing, just a little zebra strip up here. So we just got some side-mounted LEDs here for the just some light pipe action for the backlight. And there are our contacts there for our buttons. Oh, look at those ones, because they're backlit, so they have to do something fancy there. You might be able to see copyright 2024 there. So yeah, this is a design from last year. So yeah, it's been out like a year, maybe. Just have a look at this in glorious 4K resolution for those playing along at home. Oh, look, it's the PCB crawl. Excellent. And it's going to be very similar to the 19B schematic in terms of like just overall functionality. It's just that they're ditching all of those trim pots, and the sole remaining trim pot there, that'd just be for the cold junction temperature compensation. But I'm not going to go through it in detail, but basically, yeah, this is like they had like a Fortune Semiconductor multimeter IC in the 17B, so I assume it's like the same one used here, and it's not true RMS, so you won't find any true RMS functionality on here. Looks like they got another little data port there, in addition to the programming header down here, so that's interesting. So from a fit to envelope point of view, it's very nice. The board fits in there very securely and snug, and of course we've got the deep ridges on the plastic, which go right around the outside for some blast protection. Nice. So that is definitely first-class build quality. That's not really built down to a price at all. I mean, where you're saving the cost, of course, is it's actually made in China and you're using the, like Chinese chipset. But apart from that, not a bad job. Just a little pro tip, when you put in self-tapper screws back into plastic like this, the correct way to do it is not just go willy-nilly and screw it up, is to actually turn it counterclockwise until you feel it. It needs to be feel-o-vision till you feel it drop into the cut like that. I just had it there. And if you can't screw it up with just a couple of fingers like that, with very mild pressure, then you're not doing it right. You're cutting a brand new thread. This is practically like, it's just full. I got no pressure on that at all. And that means you're cutting into the existing thread and you're not cutting a new thread. Because if you cut a new thread, then you're not going to get many removals and insertions before you're going to come a gutter and you're going to get a loose screw. And you don't want a loose screw. That'll ruin your day. Because, you've got to open this thing to change the fuses. So, yeah, counterclockwise first and then feather touch. Now, in my opinion, by far the best thing about the new update, the Max compared to the B, is, check it out, look at the size of these digits. They're enormous. That's what she said. What do we got? I'm looking at 22 millimeters there. Oh, and they're big and fat as well. Absolutely brilliant. Compare that to like 18 millimeters on these. And like, I thought the BM235-2257 had large digits, but no, these are only 20. So these are an extra 2 digits and they're thicker. So, beautiful. But of course, the 2257 has a beautiful fast updating bar graph on it. But yeah, if you want like huge, big, clear digits, then these are just gorgeous. And the angle is really great. It's best at, slightly just like that is probably the best. But even at high angles, it's still workable. From the side, it's hard to get this on camera, but yeah, that's a really nice LCD. Okay, I'll turn my overhead lights off here, so I've just got the background. Let's have a look at the backlight. Is really nice. It shows up very well. It's brighter on screen, actually, than what it looks like in real life. But trust me, in real life, it's very good. Let me change the exposure on the camera. So I'll dial the exposure down. That's probably, well, based on the screen, I don't know, it's hard. Maybe that's what I'm seeing here, but it's beautiful and, yeah, even. It's just a really nice backlight. Love it. Continuity mode with the new TL31 electronic probes. I really like, look, they not silicon. I really like the silicon ones. Anyway, the points are very nice. Let's try it. Yeah, look, it's missing. Like that. So, loud enough. I'm not impressed. Let me try the gold-plated. Let's try the gold-plated Bryman jobbies. Nah, same. It's not the surface of the probes. This does not have a quick response time. All right, let's get out the Ian Johnson continuity tester here, and we'll give it a burl. This will give us an accurate and quantitative value for the continuity. Ramp it up. 10 milliseconds, barely. It's consistently doing it at about 30 milliseconds there, so not the greatest. You can barely hear it, but sure enough, the 17B is quicker. It's just there, but it's like, it's not latching very long, but you can still hear it. Well, I can, but yeah, so it's significantly changed. So I'd say they've changed the chipset there. I don't know, but it has changed. Anyway, the 17B Max isn't great. By the way, they have significantly changed the feel of the range switch. The old B model was very clicky. You can hear that nice solid click. This one, spongier with no click. Some people will like that. I mean, I can change that with my thumb single-handedly like that. If you're into your thumb action, you can still do that with the 17B. Harder though. Yeah, this has a better range click feel, but I don't know, but some people like soft and spongy and silent. I'm not going to judge. Unfortunately, because it doesn't use the Fluke chipset, you don't get the Fluke TouchHold. You only get the regular hold. So, boring. And if you put on the min-max mode, then it automatically goes to manual mode. So, yeah, you can't use min-max. It's going to overrange now. So, that's unfortunate. Whereas something like the 2257 here, if you go into record mode, min-max, you'll notice it stayed in auto range, and even though we're in like the lower, 6-volt range, we can actually auto range that up in the min-max mode. So, yeah, it's a downside. Auto ranging speed, not too shabby. But as you see there, we don't get anything fancy like a 60 ohm range or a 60 millivolt range or whatever. So, yeah, we just don't get the extra resolution. So, compare that to something like the 2257, and we do actually get that 60 millivolt range there. And display update speed in ohms here, you can see significantly slower than something like the 2257. And you can notice how dim that actual backlight is. That backlight's actually on. So, yeah, but that, as a consequence, is probably going to chew a lot less current too. Let's try my Arco reference standard capacitor here, and whoa, that's high. That's 0.7 nanofarads high. That is enormously high. You saw this in a recent video on my second channel. This thing is like a bang on to 10 nanofarads. Let's try my 2257 over here. There you go. Way better. Not spot on, but, you know, good enough for Australia. I don't think that's good enough for Australia. Well, then again, it's way better than 17B, 11.2 nanofarads. Oh my goodness. At least this has a residual. I can rel that out there and then go up like that. But, dang. What's up with Fluke and their capacitance ranges on their cheap Chinese meters? The little 101 jobby does all right. What's up with this thing? 100 millivolt, not quite bang on. Oh, it's a bit out on 600 millivolts there. 1.4 above, but yeah, that's like more than half within specs, so okay. But check this out. This is nuts. If I go up to 700 millivolts, okay, it's over range because it's 6,000 count, but the high voltage, what I thought was a high voltage warning indicator came on. It's not. It's an overrange indicator. Oh my goodness. Why? If I go up a range there you go. It is one digit out, 6.6. Let's go back. I'm going to have to drop it down because it's going to range. And 6 volts. Oh, there you go. Yep, it got there. And sure enough, at 100 volts, our high voltage indicator comes on. So I'm going to deem that to be a bug. That's got to be a bug, right? Unless you've got some other reason why it would do that in the millivolt range. Unbelievable. 30 volts. Looks, yeah, high voltage warning indicator at 30 volts. It's a bit low, isn't it? Anyway, let's wind the wick up. This is not an accuracy test because it's not a particularly high accuracy unit. We just want to test the overrange. 500 volts, 600 volts, no worries. 700, 800 volts. Will it go to 1,000? And this can go to 11. Yes, we can dial it to 11.
If you can see, yeah, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. 11, 11,
and most of
11,
the
and then
amps go up to 10.
Exactly.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
This will actually display 1,000 volts, but it won't display 1,100 there. So it can actually go the maximum. That's actually 1,200 volts, surviving that nicely. And as for AC, I got my AC reference standard here. It's only 0.2 count out, 600 on the millivolt range. That's not too shabby. Turn that to volts, it's the same. We can go up to our 10 volt range here. We'll take a couple of seconds to stabilize. There we go, 5 counts out there at 6 volts. And you've got to remember, this is not true RMS, only average responding, but this puts out a sine wave anyway. There you go, 60 volts. And 600 volts there, no problem. And let's wind it up. We're going to get over range there. We can go back to auto ranging. It can measure 700 volts AC, 800, 1,000 volts AC, and yes, this can go to 11 as well. Of course we can dial this to 11, and we can dial that to 1,200 volts AC. Yep, survive that, no worries. And we've got the lab 240 volt mains right up the clacker, totally unprotected. So let's switch it off. Let's see if it can survive all the different ranges. It's not going to give us a problem. Millivolts, survives that. Ohms, all the different modes. Let's go through, no worries. Capacitance and current, it's not going to do anything. But over on temperature as well, let's go back. And have we survived? We have. Winner. Measure our ohmski, 10 meg, pretty bang on. 1 meg. Come on, you can do it. Yep, no worries. 100K. It's creeping up there. There you go. 10K. Yeah, crept up there. 1K. Yeah, not too shabby. 100 ohms. Now we're getting down to lead contact resistance, of course. That's probably it for the leads. We don't really need to go any lower than that because it doesn't have a lower range. That's a winner chicken dinner. Temperature seems good enough for Australia. And drop test. Whoa, that was brutal. Yeah, no worries. It's only on a carpet, but well, concrete and thin carpet tiles, but yeah, no problem. Microamps, almost bang on. And curiously, it's only 4,000 count on the current range. Look at that, it just goes over range on the microamps range. So yeah, why don't we get our 6,000 count? And same on the milliamps as well. It's it's almost bang on, but go to 41 milliamps, you're overranged. Anyway, it is bang on. And if we change over, ta-da, input jack alert. It's beeping, it's flashing at us, warning Will Robinson. So yeah, that is like, it's not just over voltage, that is like a general warning LED indicator. So, okay. So change it to amps, and we're all good. Feeding in 6 amps, let's bump that up to 10, and yeah, no worries. And the specifications are what you expect, like 0.5% on DC volts, and curiously, 1% plus 10 on 600 millivolts, so yeah, it's very entry-level meter stuff. And sure enough, you only get the 6,000 count on voltage, but on everything else, current here, but on capacitance and ohms, yeah, you only get the 4,000 count, so And I'll turn the main lights off here to test a diode, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's barely coming on. But we get no reading because it's over the max there. Let's go for the 2257. Yeah, it comes on brighter, and we can read 2.38 volts. And this uses 2 AAA batteries, same as the 2 AA's in here. So yeah, the Max ain't doing much maxing. Let's try to read a 3300 microfarad cap. It shouldn't, because its maximum is 2000. That's what it claims anyway. It's not gonna do anything. Bueller. It should show. Oh yeah, there we go. Geez, that took a long time, didn't it? But it's showing 558 microfarads. Let's keep it on there. I'm gonna have to edit this clip. It's taken so long. Damn. Still waiting. Oh, no, 462 microfarads. It's arranged up. But, oh my goodness, this thing is taking forever. This is ridiculous. And it's giving a dodgy reading to boot. Oh man, seriously? Let's see if my 2257 can handle that. There we go. 3.18. This will measure into the millifarads. 3.2. There you go. No wuckers. So yeah, not great all round the capacitance tester on that. That's a real shame. Let's short this out and see how long it takes to actually figure out that it's shorted. I'm going to have to speed this up. Wow, 34 seconds to figure out that it's shorted. What the hell is wrong with this thing? Let's try the old 17B, which actually has a fair residual on there. But anyway, let's go. And yeah, these are using different chipsets, I'm pretty sure. But this one's oh, there we go. What was that, 7 seconds? Yeah, something's really changed in this thing. Don't like it at all. Don't get this thing if you want to measure capacitors. Can I even read 1000 mic cap? Let's go. Twiddle your thumbs. Whoa, there we go. What was that? Still 11 seconds. Slow as a wet week. Some battery measurements. I've set it to 3.8 volts here, just so that you can see it works with primary lithium batteries. And we're on AC mode. We're drawing 2 milliamps there. So let's go to DC, 1.7 millivolts, 1.7 milliamps, ohm skis. There you go. So it looks like it's capacitance, 1.8 amps. Yeah, so, 2 milliamps nominal consumption there. And at 3 volts there, it's only a smidge less. So, yeah, you could probably take it as like 2 milliamps, something like that. So the backlight is 7. So that's only 5 milliamps for the backlight. So, yeah, that's pretty low. That's why it's not that bright. Okay, what voltage is it going to drop out at? Let's have a look, because that will determine our battery life and how much of the energy we're wasting, unless we use a batterizer. 2.2. Oh, there we go. I think, yeah, it came on at 2.2. Will it come back? Yeah, 2.2. Yeah, 2.22 comes on. You can see it there. And 2.23 switches off. So it looks like it's a hard threshold there. Does it keep working at 2 volts? Oh, yeah. No, it just auto-switched off there. So it claims 500 hours minimum, and yeah, based on like a copper top jobby at 5 milliamps, yeah, it'll at least do that, and this is only 2 milliamps, so yeah, no worries, it'll meet spec. And does it maintain accuracy right down at low battery voltage? Well, feeding in 5 volts in there, she ain't changing. What was it, 2.22? Well, there you go, 2.21, right down to 2 volts. Yeah, no, it's accurate right until it looks like it's going to auto switch off. No wuckers. Well done. So the verdict on the Fluke 17B Max, well, if as far as an upgrade goes to the 17B, I kind of like it because, well, if you're after a big display, big clear display, then this one's pretty schmick. I like it, but for those who like really bright backlight, this one's not for you. Continuity tester isn't the best out there, but it's adequate. Diode test isn't the best out there. The capacitance function certainly is not the best out there. And the input jack alert, that's very welcome. It's a Fluke. What do you expect? It's rugged. It's going to survive. I like the over voltage indicator is nice, but why it works on millivolts? Because it's not like you can damage the millivolt mode. I put 240 volt mains on there and no problems whatsoever. Survives it just fine. But it's a shame that it doesn't have the Fluke TouchHold, for example. That's one of the benefits of getting the Fluke, but this didn't have it, and the 101 doesn't have it either, so, you know, you get what you get and you don't get upset. And they haven't really improved the spec, it's just very average, and really, bang per buck, when you compare it for something like, for basically exactly the same price, the BM2257, there's just no contest, really. I mean, this has got low impedance mode, the accuracy specs are better, it's got a 60 millivolt range, it's got a fast updating bar graph, and yes, it has the auto hold. Can't call it touch hold because that's trademarked, but it's got the auto hold function. And it's got a crest function, and it has like a visual alert indicator on the, and this has better continuity testing. And this has got optional infrared serial interface on the back as well. And it's got a variable frequency drive filter in it, and also it's got a 3-level electric field tester for, you know, detecting mains wiring and stuff. And it's a faster updating and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, like bang per buck, this does not compare with, or even the older BM235 or pretty much any other modern, you know, functionality multimeter on the market. But you do get the Fluke name, you do get the Fluke ruggedness, you get the Fluke assurance, and, well, you take this onto the work site, and it's got the Fluke yellow, so everyone's going to trust you. And, of course, if you're the only person who hasn't watched my Why Are Fluke Meters So Expensive video, then you should watch that. So, yeah, I just wish it had a bit more capability, that's all. I mean, yeah, I know it's still very low cost for a Fluke, but it just would have been nice to have, like, TouchHold or just something. And really, there's no major showstoppers with it, unless you count the capacitance mode and the issues there. So it's a relatively solid, get it? I'm here a week. Solid offering, and you're probably not going to have any issues with it. So if you need or want the Fluke yellow and the Fluke branding, then, you know, it's a reasonably nice offering for the price point. It's just that, yeah, there's a ton of other meters on the market that have way better bang per buck than this. Still, it's an okay offering, I guess. So anyway, I'll link it in down below, and you can get this over on the EEVblog store, by the way, if you want. But yeah, anyway, thoughts and comments down below. Catch you next time.